Today's short's a little different than usual. We're coming from Boston, Massachusetts. I've been here for an amazing Fusion X show. We spent all day yesterday meeting with CEOs and founders of the fusion industry. Then I spent the better part of my afternoon meeting with investors who would put their money behind fusion. It's really going gangbusters. There's a lot of companies that have started in the business. There's a lot of money behind it. We spent time with Commonwealth Fusion. Commonwealth Fusion's doing a tour today. We're going to have them on the podcast shortly in the future, but it was really interesting. My takeaways are a couple things. I think fusion is real. I think it's going to come in the near future. I don't think it's 30 years away, although there's a lot of jokes about that. I think we'll see real milestones. We've seen incremental improvements each year. The magnetic technology, all these pieces are really bringing things there. What we also found is the funding. So there were private sector and government there talking about the funding for these initiatives, where they're going. And that was a really interesting thing for me. Many of the fusion companies are doing things to get some money in the near term, because we're probably 10 years away from them selling power to the grid and having full-scale power plants. But in the incremental time, they're selling kind of software to other industries, so you can make isotopes for the medical industry and do other things. A bit of a distraction in my opinion, but that seems to be the investment strategy a lot of these CEOs are taking with their companies. The investors talked about why they'd put money into fusion and how they're going to get their money back. So the funds that were there were fairly large and ones you would recognize by name. They said, look, we have a 10-year pro forma. Doesn't seem like we'll get the money out from revenues here, but what we'll probably do in the next 5 years is expect to see some IPOs inside the fusion industry, which will then take and grow the industry. They gave the analogy of Tesla and how Tesla was cash negative for a very long time, and even after the IPO didn't make profit for quite some time, and they think this is a way that they can get the high risk that they're taking today, get their payment out, and another group can come in and invest with a slightly less risk than there is today. Although having said that, there's quite a bit of risk across fusion. You have technical risk, you have financial risk, you have the folks, can they run a business? So there's a lot of moving parts, and fusion, as we all know, is extremely complex. But if we solve it, it's pretty exciting stuff, and it seems like we're on track to get closer to having fusion in the near future. So we're going to do a lot of content here coming up on fusion. I'm going to keep this short today. Hope you enjoyed this little update from Boston. Next week, by the way, I am headed to Orlando, Florida. I will be at Distributech International. So if you didn't meet with me here in Boston, I know I met with a couple hundred fans over this last couple days. But if we didn't get a chance to meet here, let's meet in Orlando. I'm there all week long. Send me a DM, and I look forward to seeing you at Distributech International next week. Bye for now.